and gentlemen. So yeah, on this show we talk about a lot of different things, and we talk about them, from a lot of different aspects. So today, we're gonna be talking about all this stuff that went down at the Capitol. The vaccine. The direction of the world, and so forth and so on, ladies and gentlemen. So the first thing, that I really want to start talking about is this thing at the Capitol, and why as a person that's a descendant of African people that were enslaved, ladies and gentlemen, I kind of have my views, what I'm saying, about, why I'm not really moved. I was you got to understand, I'm a 43. I saw that whole Rodney King thing. I was learning about, all this stuff in black history class, about the stuff that happened to, what I'm saying, the ancestors and all of this stuff. So when I seen the whole thing with Rodney King, back in the 90s, that had already kind of hit me in the mind, like, damn, like it's like, what just happened, So, you're talking about decades past that to, the brother that was killed in Columbus, going to go in his house, and he had like a sandwich in his back pocket of his hand or something. The police shot him in the back. I can't remember his name right now, but as a people, I just feel like we should be more upset, about stuff like that happening, than what they doing in Capitol Hill, because that's just you see they honor their own lives amongst each other. The police step back and let them do what they want to. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you always hear people saying, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. If that was a black person, what I'm saying, they would have been in, yeah, woo. If that was a black person, they would have been in, what I'm saying, got killed a long time ago, this, that, and the other. So y'all know what it is, and that's nothing to even be proud about, to just keep saying that. Like, what I'm saying? Like, so where I'm at with things is, why should, I get upset about this display of ignorance against democracy, right? And all of this
Mario.
stuff, when, you know, you know, some of our brothers and sisters' lives are being compromised and taken from them on a daily basis. I'm beyond that. Like, what? Are you okay? Yeah, whatever, man. They gonna do whatever they want to do. You know what I'm saying?
And
They've been doing whatever they want to do.
let's really delve into that mindset. Why are people so angry that that happened? Why do they feel that if it were them being there and them being, hurt, that would have been okay anyway?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's like this mindset of, even though it's wrong, the wrong thing should be happening to somebody else too.
that
So do you think, do they wish that those unarmed people were shot? I mean, I think a couple of them died. They were.
or or is it that
They was steamrolling them when I saw the video.
Yeah, but I would say this. I would say this. Instead of saying, man, if it was us, we would have been shot a long time ago. How about, what I'm saying, we empower ourselves, what I'm saying, to really, stand boldly for our own issues. You see the so-called white privilege that y'all talking about, they'll take the, liberty to, express themselves. Maybe it's time that we start expressing ourselves about what we are concerned about, because it's troubling, when you witness a whole summer of people protesting, and you think, oh man, maybe things are really gone, the world is paying attention, and things, nah, man, they keep doing the same thing over and over and over, a slew full of people, so the regime is about to change again. So it's about to be a new president. You can't blame that on the old dude. It's still the same system. It's still the same thing happening. So as a people, my thing is, when are you going to step back and say, you know what? People have been getting killed in the streets. People have been getting medically experimented on, and all kind of unjust things happening decade after decade after decade. Another wrong is being defined against us, and yet and still we turn our heads away from the truer issues that's holding us down as a people. We have to learn to love one another and speak and stand behind one another when we start to speak about the issues that are the truth. We need to talk about the truth. How are we supposed to be able to move on in the midst of all of these things? There's no talk of reparations. There's, they throwing it in your face. You know what I'm saying? That they can kill people with impunity, and that the law isn't really going to do anything. It's going to be a long, sought out legal process, this, that, and the other. And it's not saying that they all that group of energy of people is all powerful, and it's not a black and white thing. It's a good and evil thing, because if you're not going to stand up and talk about what's right and wrong, then that's just evil, and that evil can be black or white. You know what I'm saying?
I was just going to reference something that Boyce Watkins actually did say before or after the election. I don't remember. But he said, you say that you can't do things when you're in office because you're black. Mm-hmm. But then you pull on the heartstrings of the black people to vote for you. Yep. If you cannot do anything for black people because you say you're black and you don't have the same privileges as a white president, then why are you telling black people to vote for you if you can't do what you should be able to do as president for them? Yeah. One community.
Yeah, I think that's talking about
And you have a caller.
Oh. Welcome, caller. You're more than welcome to join. Who do we have?
Hey, what's happening, y'all? It's Baba Ken, man. What's going on, y'all?
Baba Ken, What's going on, man? How you doing? Man?
Man, I just want to let y'all know how galactically synchronized we are. I was up really late last night. I'm really just kind of coming to myself. And when I pulled up, I had a little tea, and as soon as I pulled my computer up and chimed into what y'all were talking about, I was like, wow, I was just thinking the same things that both of y'all are just saying. That I just wanted to chime in with y'all that I think that what we saw, like you said, Mario, it's not about like doing a comparison of if they was black, they would have been, no, we have to stop creating that reality of what would have happened and comparing. I think it boils down to recognizing that our power lies in our creating our perfect life for ourselves, despite government, despite challenges, despite obstacles. And so our only thing that's happening is that it's just becoming clear to the blind of what it is. But for those of us that see, we have to tap into our power and govern ourselves.
That's right.
If you're governing yourself already, it doesn't matter what they do in their politics.
Exactly.
If you're looking at your nutrition, if you're looking at your life, if you're looking at how you live, and you're looking at focusing on doing the things necessary for your family to not just make it, but to excel, that's where the power comes in. Everything they're doing is just the theater of absurdity.
Yeah, I totally concur. So, and that was, that's my whole point. Our ancestors have been through this playbook. Decade after decade after decade century after century after decade. We look at the Sankofa bird. You know what I'm saying? You got to look back in order to get ahead. You know what I'm saying? So at some point in time,
and then when you look at the sheer brutality of the slavery that the 400 years ago slavery we're talking about in America with black people, the sheer brutality of it. Do you think they were thinking, I hope that my descendants become the president of this country? Do you think that's what they were thinking?
You know what I'm saying? Like
absolutely.
I hope my descendants become the spearhead of all that has happened to us. You know what I'm saying? No, man. They were saying, thank you, Queen. That was excellent. I want, if I was them, I would be saying I want my descendants to be free and live freely again. You know what I mean? And everything,
right.
And I was.
The most common thought would be, I pray that my descendants get far away from this place.
Yeah,
I mean, or something like that.
Exactly. Let me say this too. I love what you said, Kelly. Because I was thinking to myself, like when I first saw that the lady that got shot, the lower man in me was like, oh, Karen got killed, and I'm like smiling and stuff. But then after I calmed down and I was back inside myself, and God came back into my body, God came back into my mind. I said to myself, that was probably somebody's mother.
Yeah.
And that lady, as misguided as she is,
tell us who you're talking about.
I'm not gonna let those people get me into being rejoicing in a death of a human being.
Yeah.
In a situation, I'm just not going to allow myself to be rejoicing over a mother or a woman being killed and shot like that.
Are you talking about in the riots?
That's crazy.
At the White House?
Yeah, and at the White House riots.
Went to White House. Yeah.
Yeah. So and
were there people rejoicing like publicly on social media?
Yeah. A couple of people. What really made it tune in for me was a couple of people, were calling me and was saying stuff like, "Hey man, did you see this? Did you see that man? Karen got shot." And I was just listening to how rabid their thoughts were, and I was saying to myself, we're better than them. So if that's what we're into, one of the rules of war is that you're not supposed to shoot innocent bystanders. Now I'm not saying that lady was innocent because she was there with those people busting on doors. But what I am saying though is that in the scheme of things, I'm not going to allow my spirit to get to a point where I want to see women getting killed and shot in a situation.
Yeah.
A standard rule of war is women and children are not a part of that.
Or to even.
And so we have to check ourselves not to become devils of ourselves. Yeah. We should move to the high road and recognize that there just needs to be a change. There needs to be fairness, and there needs to be oneness, and there needs to be peace and love. Because I'm not rejoicing over people dying.
Yeah.
Just because because of what they do. You know what I'm saying? Two wrongs don't make a right is what I'm saying.
And look, check this out. When you are able to kill or feel no pain over someone being killed, it's because you don't look at them as being human. So that's why they're saying Karen got shot. So those who are saying that don't even look at her as human. They look at her as the picture of racism. And we have allowed the media to tell us who's racist and who's not. They have made this whole election a race war to where we are believing that one president is more racist than the other candidate or whatever.
And they still
it's simply not true.
Belong to the same establishment.
And it's simply not true.
See, the one thing that we got to understand, is that for all that we know, Donald Trump and Joe Biden could be friends. We don't know what in the greater grand scheme of this political theater.
And the fact that we have played such a big role in our emotions with this election, they had a video of a mother who was like literally going off on her son because he went into the polls and voted independent. He probably voted for Kanye or something. And she was so angry at him. They had another mother whose son was 5 years old in kindergarten, and they had to vote for the president or whatever, just as a play assignment. He voted for Trump. The mother put him out, 5 years old, and made that little boy feel like he was going to have to sleep outside. Of course, he didn't really get put out. But we have allowed this election to really stir our heartstrings, and it's two white people and one of them have a huge track record with my ancestors in their everyday lives. Another one is a businessman who's shrewd and not a good person and doesn't pay people and all of that. And then we have another one who actually instilled laws that have our ancestors. Some people still in jail, stopped family lines. People ain't have children. So stopped a lot of things for a lot of people. But yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say all of that.
No problem, Queen. So just in my perspective of things, and I enjoy the that you just gave. In the perspective of things, just observing these things, we had to, like you said, Bobby Ken, come to the place where we're governing self. Our ancestors, they went through all of these things already. They did all of the marching and all of this, that, and the other. Yeah, it's no more need to march on Capitol Hill.
You got a caller.
Yeah. Welcome, caller. Come in.
Hello.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, how you doing there, brother?
Blessings, man. Who might this be?
You're speaking with this is Eric out of Cleveland, 216.
Oh, Eric, what's going on, man? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing okay there, brother. I was just listening to the conversation.
Yeah.
You guys was having. I just wanted to add one quick thing. I was listening to the most recent part where the lady and gentleman were discussing. I guess I'm gonna paraphrase: being part of your higher self.
Yeah.
And not indulging in the attitude of being proud that the woman was killed at the Capitol.
Yeah.
I would say this to my people. If you do believe, and this is only for those who believe, if you do believe that you are at war with someone, you have to take on a wartime mentality. And I feel like this is the issue that our people struggle with the most.
Yeah.
We are in this situation now where we've been told by our older ancestors that turning another cheek is something to valor. It's something to be proud of. Being beat down, getting, humiliated and degraded and being able to take it is something to be proud of. And that's a narrative I think that we need to stop.
Yeah.
No, would I be running around crying and laughing that a woman got shot? But if that woman is my enemy and I believe I'm at war with that woman, her death means nothing to me. And and to my people, there's a time for forgiveness. And when you're at war and you have a forgiveness mind state, you will always lose, as we did in the past. It wasn't the narrative, and it wasn't the brothers like Martin Luther King, rest his soul, who chose nonviolence that got things done. Oh, but the correct narrative is it was the brothers in the streets burning stuff up and dragging people out of houses. Those were the people who moved the needle.
Yeah.
You forgot Martin Luther King did not get traction in the South. He went down south trying to talk that kumbaya. They were not on it. And not just because people weren't getting jobs. We're at the point now where people are getting run up in our homes and getting shot while we're in our sleep. And Tamir Rice, 12-year-old kids are getting shot in broad daylight.
Right.
We can't be walking around telling people don't be mad or don't be happy that the enemy is dead.
Yeah.
If I see another brother running around here happy that the enemy is dead, oh well. Now, I'm just gonna let him have that attitude for right now, because right now we're at war.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to be at war next to someone who has a mind state of, oh, let's forgive that person and let me have some type of sympathy. No, you have to fight the battle with the same fervor that your enemy has. And if you don't, you will continue to lose. That's all I would have to say.
Brother Eric. Now, adding to that, not taking away from it, but looking into the perspective of it, right? One of the biggest things I think to overcoming an enemy is not to turn yourself to their the frequency that they on. Like if we think
become that which you hate.
Become that which you hate. If you think like
I want to ask you to this.
Yeah.
When has that worked for us? That's the only. I know where you guys going with this, but every time I come,
it worked. It worked in the Haitian Revolution.
People is, once you listen to your solution, ask yourself, when in history has that ever worked for us?
That worked during the Haitian Revolution. Watch this, because during the Haitian Revolution, you gotta understand that when we talk about the area of spirituality, the ancestors back then, you know, they were in place in a Christian mindset, right? And in order to overcome the enemy, instead of being more Christian like them, they turned toward the voodoo. You know what I'm saying? But they still use the Christian principles to mask what they were actually doing. You know what I'm saying? Tapping into their own spiritual ancestry. Now, I'm not necessarily saying, you know, that, you know, there has to be, you know what I'm saying, direct bloodshed. Sometimes when you know you God, you don't even have to fight with your enemy. You just begin to rise above your enemy and focus on yourself, because in my opinion, you know what I'm saying, like for like all of the stuff that's going on, even with the virus, this pandemic stuff and all this stuff, right? You know, if we begin to focus on ourselves, because the medical industry has showed us over the years of our abuse in this country that we've endured, that they are not our friends. So if we begin to, at this point in time, you know what I'm saying, deal with one another, you know, and not just about the medical industry, but even in the financial sector and everything else, that will be our empowerment, instead of worrying about what they doing, because, you know, we will be able to organize and lift ourselves up from a higher principle, other than responding to, you know, the illusions that they put before us. But I know it's not easy to do at the same time, because there is a need to fight and have balance and be spiritual at the same time. I was just trying to add to what you were saying, Brother Eric.
Okay, no
Yeah,
problem.
I like to, Eric,
yes, sir.
Brother Eric, I wanted to chime in on that too. This is what I meant. First of all, if someone killed my mama, or like if I'm in a direct warfare confrontation, I'm a born again savage against my enemy. But what I'm talking about is, you know, if I let's say I'm in full military armament, and I'm fighting, and across from me, with a gun in her hand, is a child and a mother. In the spirit of preserving my own life, I will fire my weapon, and that's it. But what I'm talking about is, after you take another person's life, and it's time to come back home to be around your family, I don't think it's in our best interest to objectify everyone on the other side of even in a war as your enemy, and then rejoice in the killing of another human being. The actual tactic of war is a last-ditch, last-resort effort that our people that everyone has to confront. And I too want to borrow from history. In Chancellor Williams, the great book on the destruction of black civilization, I never saw it coming in the book, but he talked about how after a brother has been valiant and done a whole bunch of killing and stuff in a war, there's a series of initiations and things that person had to go through to integrate back into society. And I think it's very important that even when you're fighting a war like we are, that we make sure we don't become them it's regarding to other human life. You know, there is a such thing as prisoners of war. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. I think you're right as far as fire breathing, but go ahead, brother.
I totally agree with both of you guys. I think where we might split hairs is, and I'm gonna start with my first brother, Mr. Abney there. The example you gave in history is the one that I give. And so this is another reason why I tell people knowing history is very important, because you and I both have the same historical lesson, the Haitian Revolution, which you referred, but me and you referred in two different ways.
Exactly.
You referred to it in such a way as that they took away the Christianity and turned to more voodoo. But in what I know of voodoo, it was that spiritual, quote unquote, if I want to quote the last brother who just said, the spiritual savageness in voodoo, which propelled them to win. It was them calling on Ogun, the middle of God. Yeah. They were stuffing their own. Think about it. Those people were stuffing their own kids, and own kids were willingly jumping into cannons to stop them from firing.
Yeah.
I mean, my last brother just said that, if he's in full military armament, that's the next problem that we got. The war has morphed into something that looks different, but we're still at war. There are bullets still flying, but the enemy is not wearing a uniform anymore all the time.
If I can jump in there,
So,
Eric, just right
go
quick.
right here, brother.
The war I think that we facing now is, like you said, it's not just bullets that you see, but I mean, like, I think this pandemic thing, you know what I'm saying, is genetic warfare. And it's
Correct.
it's genetic warfare. You know what I mean? They're advertising black people to be the face of this pandemic. Then on top of that, they rolling out the so-called let's celebrate the black first. Here's another black first with the, you know what I'm saying? I mean, everything is, they're tying this to us right now. From my understanding, the motherland don't have it like that. You know what I'm saying? And that has a lot to do with the sunlight and the melanin. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, we over here in a Northern American climate in North America, where the sun isn't shining quite as strong and powerful on the people as it is like in the motherland. You know what I'm saying? So, the sunlight helps us to synthesize vitamin D. And vitamin D, I've been checking out, is also a hormone. It's not just a vitamin. It acts as a hormone too. Queen, if you want to, if you can pull some of that information up, if you happen to see it, about vitamin D. But I'm just throwing that out there because when we talk about the warfare,
I agree with that, Mario. If we could though, I would like to, Eric, I would like you to really finish what you were saying, because I like where you were going. I wanted to see how you was going to end that up for me. So
I was just going to say that touch on the issue that the war that we're fighting is morphed into something different, and I think that our people have a identity problem with identifying what this war now looks like. Like you said, when I speak to the average black person and I say, if we get on this subject and I say, do you believe that you're at war? Most of them will say, if we're on this topic, yeah, I believe black people are at war. But no, do you really think you're at war? Because if you think you're at war, your mind process, its thought process is going to be different. And if you understand white supremacy like I do, it's a global system. It doesn't matter where you go. Over in Africa, where there's a lot of sun, there's still white supremacy. Over here in America, where there's little sun, for us, less sun, there's still global white supremacy here. It isn't the pandemic. It isn't just, those are side issues of a bigger problem, and the bigger problem is white supremacy. And we don't understand.
Okay. All right, so I got that. So this is what I want to say. So this is what I wanted to ask you, Brother Eric. That point well taken. And I want to slow down here because I just don't want to forget my point, because you sound like you're a very wise king. But I wonder, this is what I was trying to say, and this is what I want to ask you. So that situation that we were looking at with them, that is war, but that's the civil war between whites, right? That was two white people. One white man killed a white woman. Our struggle is with them, like you said, white supremacy, and with the false construct of white supremacy and the evil that they do. But I was trying to point out that situation right there was not our war. That one is theirs. And as I look at that situation taking place, what I was speaking on is, once the adrenaline of all that calmed down, and I recognized, damn, that's the civil war with them that I've been praying for. And while I'm watching them take themselves out, I'm not going to rejoice that they choosing that they're killing their women wholesale like that. I'm going to look at that, all of what they do with disgust, and make sure that once I get back to power, that I'm not so caught up in racial, which is a false construct anyway, that I'm not so caught up that I would have my forces kill a woman in a situation where there really was no imminent threat. You know what I'm saying? It would be different if that lady had. You do know what I'm saying?
I think that mindset is farther down the line, though. I agree.
Absolutely.
That's the mindset that we should take on once things die down. Right now, we're like frozen French fries thrown off into high grease. It's popping right now. Right now, right now is not the time to be. Let's settle down our energy. We need any and everybody to have right now. And I think we lost our momentum when we went ahead and voted this cycle.
Yep.
We should have withheld our vote totally, and I would have sent a clear and total message to tell people, no matter who, that we were saying that no matter who's in office, you're gonna have to come see me. And we didn't do that. And I think we need to put the pressure back on.
We got another caller too.
And I think that
we got another caller. Hold that thought, Eric. Hold that thought.
No, let him finish.
Keep that thought going, but join in, next caller. Keep that thought going, Eric. Go ahead. Go ahead, Eric.
No, I was just going to say that we just need to not have as many people dissipate the energy.
All right, Eric. I'm sorry, man. Next, we got another caller. We got another caller that called in. Just say who you are right quick, and then Eric, go ahead and finish your thought.
I'm Theodore from New York. Am I heard, or can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you, brother. Go ahead.
Okay. So, my take on this whole situation is really, I fully endorse the Capitol riots, and there was a lot of election fraud, white power.
Say that again.
I'm sorry. Say that again, my friend.
His phone call was dropped, or hopefully he'll call back.
Okay, Eric, go ahead. Finish your thought, man. My bad.
That was it, brother. I just think that it's a global system.
Yeah.
And when you understand the global system, like he said, that was basically the white supremacist is at constant. We understand white supremacy. You all know since the beginning of its inception, they always have been in civil war with one another. And when they do this, they're going to be what I call collateral damage, and they know this. Now, when this collateral damage happens, on the inside, I'm happy. I'm telling my people, yes, we're closer to freedom. It's not rejoicing that a mother and a child died. It's rejoicing that your people are that much closer to freedom.
Yeah.
And if you can't tap into that energy, if you can't tap into that, we're one more closer. And we got people constantly pushing the narrative that we need to start being more humanistic, more quote unquote civil, whatever that means. Civil rights. That's like an innocuous term. No, you don't. Only thing you need to do is get justice. And however means you get justice, at the end of the day, that is what you strive for, is justice. And if people fall by the wayside during the creation of while you're trying to obtain power, that always happens. That always happens. You can't have your people as a group thinking, oh, come on, I was a woman and a child.
So,
if you want to think that at the end of the day, when it's over with, that's fine. So but while the bullets is firing and you in that foxhole, I don't want that attitude no more. That attitude killed us in the past.
Yeah. So
let me ask you this, Eric. Do you think that America is at her prime, or is it over?
Is it at its prime?
In other words, what do you think is the condition of America right now? Do you think it's like is she apex? Is she at her peak? Or do you think these things that we're witnessing are her decline?
When you say America, define America, are you talking about the dominant society?
I mean, the government, this society, the whole creation.
We're talking about it. It is on its way down, in my opinion. The things that we're seeing now, and that's why it's more incumbent on us as it starts to topple. They're going to get more and more desperate. When they get more and more desperate, they're going to turn that desperation and that vigor and violence on us as always. That's what only thing we need to do is when they having this civil war between two, we just need to be getting ready because whichever side wins their civil war, they're coming after us.
All
right. So one more question, Eric. One more question. And thank you, Mario, for this. I want to ask brother one more question.
Okay.
So now, So the last known civil war, I personally think they've been in a state of civil war the whole time of existence, Republican versus Democrat. But my question is this: you say that it's on decline, and how do you think we should operate differently in this civil war than we did in the last one?
Great question, brother. Great question. The thing that we should do differently this time is demand the right thing. Our issue last time was we had them up against the wall during the
Cut the
red hot
check.
summers. It was fires all across the nation, and they asked, who was it, Lyndon B. Johnson, what you want? They did the Kerner report. Why are black people so mad? We've got black mayors in here now. We've done this, we've done that. Why are black people still burning stuff up? They said back then the number one problem people had was white supremacy, even at that point. So the thing that we did wrong back then was we said, okay, when we had them against the wall and in the ropes, we said we want integration. And then it's almost like they looked at us and said, huh? That's what you want? Okay, we'll give you that. If that's all you want, we'll give you that. This time we need to ask for, or not even ask for,
Demand money.
economic reparations.
Reparations.
That is the only tool that will do this thing backwards and start the thing, because that's the issue that has never, like Dr. Clark Hansen, nobody's ever addressed the real issues of slavery, which was the distribution of power. Nobody's ever addressed that issue. And economic reparations will do that.
We are officially like-minded, and we're brothers, because that's essentially where I'm at, too, brother.
Yeah,
I appreciate your folks, man. We could tell when you called in, you were a fire-breathing dragon.
Brother
I'm
Eric.
thankful that we could come to a reason thing, because the one thing I want to do throughout their civil war is make sure that my respect and honor, and that as brothers, we can always come to terms in the midst of this. I use Martin Luther King's quote, not that I'm a Kingite, but man, I stumbled upon this record that the brother did back in the day when I was living in St. Louis at the time, and the title of the LP was "How to Remain Awake Throughout a Great Revolution." And so I just wanted to share with you that I appreciate and respect every word you said, and I wanted you to understand the spirit to which I'm coming from is I'm just trying to stay in my higher register while I fight. You see, because
just remember this, brothers and sisters. They have put us in this position because we are black, but they cannot.
We got two callers
continue
too. We got
to
two
keep us in
callers.
this position
Bring them in.
without resources. That's the reason why we can't fight back. You can hate me because I'm black all you want to, but you can't harm me if I have resources.
That's right. True indeed.
Hey,
is that other call
Brother Eric, Brother Eric, you're welcome to stay on the line. We got two more callers. Feel free to join.
All right, first we got 325.
YouTube, I fully endorse the Capitol riots, white power. I hate all black people.
Say it again, King.
Oh man, somebody just called in with some crazy stuff.
YouTube, I fully endorse the Capitol riots.
Say that again.
Joe Biden is not the legitimate president.
Joe Biden is not the legitimate
Who
president.
Who is?
Uh-huh. Well, this is what I'm gonna say.
Did they hang up?
Say. Yeah, caller, are you there?
But we have
I
another
think
caller
they hung
on the
up.
line.
We got somebody else. Come on in.
Yeah, they
Can you
just
hear
say
me?
that and hang up. That's all.
Yeah.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Deshaun. I'm from Seattle.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that the white people, they are the wrong enemy. We have to focus on the true enemy, and that is the satanic Jew. They are the ones that sent us over from Africa to the New World, and 80% of them were the slave owners in the South. I think we are focusing too much on. They are focusing too much on dividing us between black and white, while they are taking over the world. You know, Israel is bombing so many more countries and places they expanded, and now they have passing laws that you can't be anti-Semitic or question Israel. You get what I'm saying?
I heard you loud
So
and clear,
what I
man.
think we need to do, right, is channel our energy into fighting these Zionist satanic Jews. You get what I'm saying?
So what I'm gonna
Ashe.
what
I'd like
so
to address that, please,
let me
Mario.
let me address this, right? And this is what I'm gonna say. Everybody has their thoughts and viewpoints, but coming from the metaphysical spiritual place that I'm coming from, right? Ultimately the battle is between good and evil. There are many ways to define what you perceive your enemy to be, but the highest level, what I'm saying, of power comes from the knowledge of the power that lies within self. According to Christ, he said that he said that the kingdom of God is within man. So, the thing is that we must look within inside self, because in this matrix that we live in, there are going to be, many ways of saying, okay, it's this and it's that. And, the greater thing that we have to really understand, and like how you were saying, it's not about race. Ultimately, I believe it's not about race, it's not about religion, it's not about the creed, but it's about the Holy Spirit, the energy of the creative God force that is inside of you. And if you align with that energy that is trying to stop and create and oppress or not, because honestly, what I'm saying, I can't attack anybody's religious doctrine of faith and everything. I know you could read the scripture and come to what it says for yourself, what I'm saying. But even within that, what I'm saying, when you go beyond the scriptures and you talk about in a metaphysical aspect about the scriptures, which you could take literally or you could take metaphorically, because there's a scripture in Abraham, and where Abraham was basically saying in that book that these are metaphor. All of this stuff is metaphor. You know what I'm saying? So, and when you're talking about a metaphysical, metaphoric, conscious aspect of things, you understand that the spirit of the creator will use stories throughout the consciousness of mankind throughout the ages, from here to there, from here to there. So within that, bro, you know what I'm saying? The ultimate level of finding our freedom beyond this thing and this matrix, because that's what it is. It's a computer generated program. It's a program. Our minds are light. Our minds deal with light and electricity, the attuned spark. You know what I'm saying? So we're on such a metaphysical, metaphorical plane, because the stuff that they talk about in the scripture was plagiarized in so many ways from ancient Kemet. So one could agree with one person on the other aspect, and then if people were going from the literal aspect of what the scriptures say and prophecies deal with, we could go back and back and back and back and back and back. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
And that's
Yeah,
why
I know what
we
you're
should.
saying.
And
Just
the
one
main
more
reason
thing,
why I
brother.
agree with
One more
Go
thing,
ahead, I'm
brother.
sorry.
If you if you saw, the Revelations, right? It said that there was the synagogue of Satan. They were the ones that hanged Christ and denounced the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. We just need to watch ourselves when it comes to these people. They control the world. We need to stick together. It doesn't matter if we're black, white, Asian, whatever. We just need to be careful with these people, because they want world domination, and they will stop at nothing to get it. And we need to channel all our energies, our spiritual energies against them.
spiritual
You know what I'm saying?
energies, right?
My only
Spiritual
problem,
energies. Go
brother.
ahead,
My
Bobby
only
Ken. I
problem
thought
with
you
what we're
had something
talking
to say.
about right now is, I'm
Mario,
sorry.
let Eric say what he's saying. What'd you say, Eric?
I was going to say that the only problem, the issue that I have with where the conversation just went, and no disrespect to you, Brother Mario,
Yeah.
I myself do dabble in the metaphysics things, and I'm on my own path when that as that occurs. My problem with what we're doing here is exactly what Clark Anderson states for us not to do. When you're doing these things in this religious base, religion is a concept and an issue that really divides us. And
Dig it.
anything that divides us while we're at war, again, I'm going to go back to the Greece and the French
Yeah.
fries. We got it popping right now. After I listened to everything you were just saying, I was thinking to myself, when I was along that path, I believe in that too, and I believe in that too. And it comes down to what Neely Fuller says. After you said everything you just said, the question that was going in my mind, how is the average everyday black person going to apply what you're talking about to white supremacy right now today? And the answer to that question is they're not going to be able to. So that's an issue that we really kind of need to let our own people find their way and guide, you know what I'm saying? But it's an issue that does not help us obtain power.
Yeah.
That's the main issue that Clark Anderson wants to understand. Where certain issues are what he call horizontal issues. They go sideways forever. Nothing builds us up. The only thing that's going to build us up is resources, not religion. It's going to be resources, what you own and what you control. If we focus on that, that'll get us there. I don't care if my brother is a Hebrew Israelite. I don't care if my brother is a Christian.
Yeah.
I don't care if my brother is XYZ. If we're like-minded, is that, hey, you look like me, your skin color looks like me.
Yeah.
We both need to get resources. Me and him can work together.
Yeah.
But if me and him going to sit there and we got to say, well, my chakra ain't here and my metaphysics is, we going to go sideways forever.
Yeah.
We're going to go
I
sideways
say,
forever.
good point, brother.
We need to work
Good
on
point, brother Eric.
vertical.
Those are great points. If we could, if brothers, if y'all don't mind, I wanted to go back to my man out in Seattle and tie in my statement, and I want to be first and be clear that I'm not speaking in disagreement to what anybody said. I'm wanting to add fuel to the fire that's burning right now. Yesterday was the Honorable Noble Drew Ali's birthday, and the brother made a statement that, yes, sir, he said that there is no devil but man, and there's no God but man, right? And so it's incumbent upon us to recognize when we're in the middle of living our glorious lives that you're going to be making decisions where you're going to move as a generator or operator or destroyer. And obviously these people that we're dealing with, they operate in the spirit of destroying. They're destroying the forest, and then they're even trying to destroy those people who are made in the image of and are likened to God. Now I want to step to what my man in Seattle was saying. What he was saying was similar to what Eric is saying. Is like, let's define and pick that enemy out.
Yeah.
And I started off with Noble Drew Ali, brothers, because I was trying to point out that the concepts of God and devil, Satan versus Christ, these are basically the real war in Islam. Jihad is not the killing of the infidels outside of you. It's the killing of the infidel inside of you. Killing the part of you that will run amok and push you away from allowing your soul to run the ship. And so I definitely agree that my man in Washington, as well as Eric and you too, Mario, we're all doing a good job of sharing how we all define what that enemy is and how we're going to fight that situation. And I just wanted to say to everybody involved, man, I'm thankful for this strange and peculiar brotherhood that's taking place. We got one brother up north of Detroit, one just called in from New York. That was a little zany. Then all the way over in Seattle, Washington.
Say, my brother.
We got a call, and then you're in Louisiana, Mario. So we're dealing with the whole four corners of America right here. And
North, south, east, and west.
Although our viewpoints are a little different, we're all saying the same thing. I want you to know I respect and honor each and every person's viewpoint that was said today, and let us keep this high vibration going. And remember that when we finally are done, when they're done killing themselves and we're done fighting them, then that is the second coming of God. That's the return of God.
Yeah.
The way I see it is when we get back to living the way we're supposed to. Ashe.
Let me throw this out there. Brother from Seattle, you still there?
I want to add one last thing.
Hey, I just got one more thing to say.
Yeah.
This conversation we're having right now is helping us build up spiritual energy, okay? The more conversations we have like this, the more energy we will get, metaphysical and spiritual. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, well, I have to go. You brothers have a good day.
Have a good day. Now,
You
just
too,
right
brother.
quick
Thank you for
before you go,
calling in, brother.
just
We
right
appreciate
quick.
you.
Check it out. I wanted to ask you a question right quick in terms of, if you're still there, brother from Seattle, when we looking at
No, he hung up, man.
this pandemic, going on and everything. We're looking at the medical industry and all of the history that has taken place between our people and the medical industry and so forth and so on. What do you think the general masses of black people should be doing right now? Do you think perhaps that uh, they should be following and just going along with protocol? Do you think maybe it's time to research and get vocal about the concerns, and tell me, okay, well, Baba Ken or Eric, in terms of, when we're talking about being at war, how serious do you all think it is that we address this whole pandemic situation as a people?
It's very important. It's very important. We have a historical history here, and I'm going to tie this into what I kind of left off with the brother. He asked me, what should we do different this time that we didn't do last time?
Yeah.
I wanted to add one less thing to that ties to what we're talking about now is we need to identify who's on our side.
Exactly.
Last time we were introduced to, because there's a difference between the black Americans here on this soil and black people abroad. Let's just keep it honest. And it's the people here that said, hey, we want all our brothers to come over here. We know we struggling. We know y'all struggling. Let's get them over here. And we did it in the thoughts of they would come here in numbers and help us fight white supremacy. What we found out is we have a large community of them now that come over here and undermine us. And that ties into what you're talking about with this pandemic is we need to see who's on our side. And we have a lot of people, unfortunately, they're using the ones that don't come from here. If you look at a lot of these last names and if you go on the website, a lot of the people that they're trying to put faces of this pandemic on, they have foreign flags, which means, and there's no problem with that, but the problem comes in here with us here on the soil is the average person just looks at that person and says, okay, that's a black person. But in actuality, that's a Jamaican person or that's a Nigerian person. But when something goes wrong, they don't specify that. They just say, oh, that's a black person. And then all black people here catch the vitriol from something that non-foundational black Americans don't really mess with. And when it ties into this pandemic is we have a lot of unfortunately, we have a lot of people who don't share the same, they don't share the same experiences here. So they don't really, we have black people running around here saying, we got black people saying we don't need reparations.
Exactly.
The majority of people who say we don't need reparations are people who are black people who aren't eligible for them. They're people who are second and third generation foreigners who wouldn't be eligible for reparations in the United States anyway. So when you talk about the pandemic, we got black people running around here talking about, hey, take this shot. It's okay. But they don't have the same history here on the soil with Tuskegee. Their grandmother wasn't part of Tuskegee. Ours was.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So they can do things to undermine.
Some people literally have relatives that were involved with this stuff, and people don't realize that this stuff is it's not a joke. So, this, the part of my question or part of my concern or my statement, right, is that, we've seen all of these things happen in the past before. It almost seems it seems like theater when you see the way they advertise and stuff. I listen to National Public Radio sometimes, and and I just listen to it everything, the news, National Public Radio, a lot of things sound scripted, and it's geared toward this aspect of some black people's minds that want to play into the fear, or now is a time where we need to be saying we've had enough. See, the whole George Floyd thing should have symbolized that was it. We are completely our eyes are open and we just don't trust anything. You would think with the whole world protesting for the same cause or whatever, that's what that would mean. But things are so murky and so confused in terms of the way the common black people even politically analyze a lot of these things. When you talk about school and history, like a lot of the schools, they don't really get people hip, you know what I'm saying, to the things that our ancestors went through and all of those things. And, you know, just
it's not their job to, brother. It's not their job to.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm saying. When you understand white supremacy, everything that you're saying right now is supposed to happen.
It's supposed
This
to
is
happen.
by design.
So here
That's
it
why,
is.
that's why when you look at it, brother, you say, you know, it looks like theater. Because to you, your eye is open already. You know
Yeah.
the historical reference behind everything. So when you see it, you've already seen it before. So when they replay it for you, it looks crazy. Like, oh, here it come again. But what even looks more crazier to you is, how is people still falling for it?
Yeah,
Well,
how are people still falling for it? Why are people more outraged that they have no common knowledge of anything going into the vaccine? They have no common knowledge of even their own bodies. They could walk up to you and tell you you got a disease, and you can say, I feel perfectly fine. No, man, you got it, trust me. And you're supposed to believe that. If you don't believe that, you're a conspiracy theorist.
Based on a test that can have a false negative but cannot have a false positive. I don't think people realize how
this is a red flag. This is a red flag on every issue.
On every issue. So
on every issue, whether it's medical, history, education.
So
they always say black people are affected disproportionately.
Yes.
That's true. But the red flag comes in is right after that. Notice they never say what they're going to do about it. And notice that this COVID shot is the only time that they claim that they want to do something for us, just like they wanted to do something for us in Tuskegee. So that's just a red flag for you right there. When
we should be at the point we don't want anybody to do anything for us.
Everything else, but we're not going to do anything about it, especially for black people. Just like the stimulus checks. If black people are proportionally just affected by COVID so much, why aren't you giving black people more money?
Exactly.
On the COVID checks. Why is everybody getting the same amount of money? You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's the red flag right there. That's always the red flag. If there's an issue, it's going to affect us negatively more than anybody else, but they're going to help us all the same.
So, you know, and we need to like really just be vocal about these things instead of, well, you know, that's not really politically favorable to say. And, you know, because that's that element, that climate of fear. So, you know, and I'm going to throw this out there, you know what I'm saying? Because when you're talking about all of this pandemic stuff and, you know, if we were to get back on a spiritual tip and talk about even the scriptures, and, you know, so many of us grew up in churches and grew up in a church where we used to hear about Revelations and Mark of the Beast and the end times. These churches are mighty quiet. You know what I'm saying? And everything is lined up for that vaccine to have a lot of attributes that's described in Revelations, I think 13 and 16, when they talk about you won't be able to buy, sell, trade, eat, whether a man is poor or rich, all will have to, you know, take the mark and da. You know what I'm saying? These pastors are mighty quiet, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think the metaphysics or the metaphorical aspect of analyzing what's taking place in the world, the story. When I say the metaphoric, I'm talking about that the spirit of creativity, which is in man, that is a spirit of God. That spirit of God will pass down stories, like Bible stories or stories in the walls of the Kemet, you know what I'm saying, in the temples and different things, or the deluge and from India or whatever, you know what I'm saying. That's as mankind ascends through time, through the different star systems. You know, that's a way of the Creator giving us a way of looking at ourselves, or a way of analyzing ourselves, because like watching a movie, it's only so many storylines before the plots repeat and with different characters, you know what I'm saying? So when I talk, that's how I'm analyzing it, you know. So down to the mark of the beast being the lower self, You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta eat. I gotta be able to get this. I gotta be able to get that. Well, I ain't thinking about no black rights, man, or no all this civil rights crap you talking about, man. I'm just gonna go ahead and take the vaccine so I can get back to work, nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's the vibe, man. A lot of people, that's the beastly. I just gotta eat. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm looking at it.
Those are the people who. Those are think about. Those are the people too, and we have to be honest with ourselves too, brother. Like Darby said, everybody's not gonna go.
Everybody ain't gonna make
Everybody's not everybody ain't gonna get on that boat, and we have to come to a realization that yes, because I fight hard with that, brother. Because I love deep, and I'm a Leo, so I'm loyal to by nature, and I'm loyal to a lot of people, and I care about a lot of people who necessarily don't have my mindset when it comes to these things. And it's like, I have to get to the point where I have to be like, this is own family members. This could be my mama. I love them. It could be my brother. I love them. But at the end of the day, they're not like-minded with me. I know they're not going. I know how much I can depend on them too.
Yeah.
And that's where everybody has to come to their own personal. Within their own person, you have to identify those people you can rely on right now to help you fight for power.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
If they want to fight for something else, they want to fight for religion, they want to fight for their poverty, if they want to fight for their sexuality, they want to fight for their gender, those are all those horizontal issues. I need the people who want
those
to fight
issues
for
are distractions. Those other issues are distractions. And when I reference the scriptures and things of a spiritual nature, it's not to get caught in the frequency of definition. Like, it's not to get caught in the frequency. I'm a Christian. I'm a this. I'm a that. Nah, what I'm saying? I believe I'm in being a child of the Creator. You know what I'm saying? But I will reference those scriptures and use those as analysis, and try to find a connectivity. But, no, I don't believe anybody should get caught up.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, caught up. Let's not get caught up, though, in, what I'm saying, on rigid, religious doctrine, or let's not get caught up in political philosophy either, you know what I'm saying? Because one thing about politics, you still dealing with human beings, and you can draw a definite, right? And even as we draw a definite, just because of human nature, somebody tends to go against the grain, even when the grain is good grains, you know what I'm saying? So even within that, understanding human nature, the highest level is, to me, is the battle of good and evil within self. Because if we make it a totally at all the time, if we get caught up on trying to do it as a community, it's so many of us that's gonna do something wrong. You know what I'm saying? We will end up fighting with one another, trying to stop each other from those who gonna, like how you said, everybody ain't gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? So it's all that balance.
And just like the white supremacists have their civil war, we have to have ours too, brother.
Yeah, because it's black devils and white devils.
We have to draw the line in the sand, and we have to really know who's going. And when you really think about and understand white supremacy in its true fashion, you'll understand. And when you come to the understanding, you'll understand that it's going to be the black people here in America that's going to spark it all. It's going to be the strength of the black, because we're the only people here who have one. We're the only people who have the numbers plus resources to do so. The last thing I want to add is we're the only person with the historical reference. We're the only group of black people on the earth who have consistently, now listen to the words I'm saying, consistently fought against white supremacy head on. And you look at these other nations, they're still in the white Jesus phase.
Yep.
They damn near still worship white Jesus. Yep. We really ain't never really been on that shit. You know what I'm saying? We've been on, you know what I'm saying? We always, even at the height of our being in church, we always still looked at the white man kind of sideways. You know what I'm saying? We never really worshiped them like the other people did. And we got to understand it's going to be the people here on this soil that's going to spark it off. But like I said, we're the only people who have, what they say we only 13% of the population. I think those numbers are higher. But even with those low numbers, you and I both know, you in New Orleans, like I said, we listen to people all over this state. We all know that if something got popping off, every black person around this nation would be on guard, be ready to go at it. They don't care if they come down our streets with military tanks. We're going to be at it.
Yep.
And they know that. They know, the white supremacists know this too. That's the reason why they got the things that they've got, because they need white supremacy in order to have an unequal footing. Because we all know, hand-to-hand combat, man-to-man, they can't stand a chance against us.
Well, see,
They always need their weaponry. They always going to need those things to enforce. And that's what's happening right now. That's why I said they're getting ready to topple, because we're talking about things like defund the police. When we start going heavy on issues like that, the police, they know, and we know the police is the only thing that stands between us and them. The police is the only apparatus they have to enforce the white supremacist laws they have.
yeah,
And the minute they see that we're not scared of them, and that they ain't gonna hang it, they ain't gonna hang their hat in our house, it's gonna be on and popping. And that's where we're at now. And that's why I answered the brother earlier at that, saying that we're on the decline, because we're at the point now where we're attacking the direct apparatus that they use to protect themselves.
yeah. You still there, Baba Ken? Yeah. Well, Brother Eric, the thing that, what I'm saying, I would definitely say is that there are definitely devils in all shades and sizes, and, devils are out there, man. So it's like, yeah, and idealistically, we can definitely define what implied white supremacy is, and their control and all of these things. But the one of the issues, like we were talking about, is you got a lot of black people that love the way things run, and they be one of the main ingredients to keep it running the way things run.
That's why we have to expose who those people are.
Yeah,
and we got people. We got our own people cheering up people like a Stacey Abrams, like that mayor in D.C. Yep. Like a Keisha
Lori Lightfoot.
We got people thinking that those. We got people thinking that those people. Those are wins for us.
Well,
we need people now to say,
let me throw this out there.
Nope.
Let me throw this out there, because you got a lot, and it bothers me, man. These people are the ones that's so happy to comply with everything that's negative for black people, is the black elected officials a lot of time. I want to see the black mayor.
You have to ask yourself why.
I want to see the black mayors,
what
I'm saying, that's down with the lockdown, saying, well, wait a minute, before we go into lockdown, we got a lot of black citizens, that have been making it from the hustle and the gig economy, we got a lot of independent and we actually do have a lot of independent black business owners, a lot of barbershops, and a lot of hair shop owners, and now you don't necessarily see these mayors necessarily speaking up for the interests, of the citizens they reflect.
They won't, and they won't, and that's what we have to. That's what we have to demand. That's what we have. That's what we have to change. We have to start growing our own leadership from within.
Yeah,
and stop voting for the leadership choices that they give us. We understand that the only leadership choices they're going to give us are the people. Unfortunately, I went to a HBCU.
Yeah,
and it's that mindset. It's that group of people that they choose from.
Yep.
They're going to choose from all those people in those organizations. Unfortunately, I'm going to say unfortunately, because I thank God for all my experiences. I'm a brother who went to an HBCU.
I did too.
In one of those organizations.
I am too.
I'm an alpha.
I'm an iota.
But I stand alone, very much alone, in that arena. You should see how alpha brothers, black men, who pledged me, who talked about black this, black that.
Yeah.
When I go to meetings and I talk things that I talk now, you should see the way these black men are looking at me. Like,
yeah.
Huh? Are you want to do what? You want to do what?
And
that goes to that. That's when my eye opened. Man,
Eric, let me jump in there, man.
Yes, sir.
Because check it out, man. And this is what and this, this is probably gonna be some very out there shit to say, man. But just from my experiences, man. Like, I went to a black college. What school did we go to school together? Or no.
I went to Central State.
Yeah. We went to. I went to Central State also. You know what I'm saying? And my experience, I'm an iota, man. You know what I'm saying? And I can remember when I was a freshman, before I was in any organization or whatever, you know what I'm saying, how the people in fraternities stood out and were praised amongst the general student population. I mean, they were held in high esteem by for other organizations and by the student body, right? So
Yeah, by the faculty, yeah.
this is when, you know, teenagers are becoming to their 20s, 19, headed to 2021. This is when you still developing in your mental rationale of in your worldview. You know what I'm saying? So you're in a small, isolated society, and you get a secret society or a society that's held in high esteem more so than the general population, and that's the consensus amongst all of the students and everything like that. Then you see these people, you go ahead and pledge, or you see somebody pledge. So once they pledge, they get that same social juice. These people that join these organizations, a lot of times they go through things that are rigorous, you know, that separate them from the student body, and it's put upon to them, or in their mindsets, that yeah, you better than the average person because you in this organization, right? So when these same people, you know, end up becoming the, you know, leaders of the student society, and then they go into the workforce and they become the general politicians, and they have already embodied the mindset, you're better than the general population, because the general population doesn't belong to what you belong to. You're in a higher job now, you're in a higher up. Most niggas don't know about fraternities and sororities like that. They don't care, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, when you look at that mental socialization of being better than, now you end up getting a job and you a DA, you know what I'm saying, or something like that, you know, and you're just in the upper echelon and you're not connected to the general population or the general body of society. You know, it becomes a way of something that isolates you from the real shit that happened real time with real people. And as a result, you know, I mean, being in like, these are so-called Greek letter organizations, man, and we African by blood, by, you know what I'm saying, we indigenous, like,
by
like black people.
by definition, we mortal enemies.
Yeah.
We're mortal enemies. You know what I'm saying? I'm a black person walking around with Greek letters on my chest. You know what I'm saying?
It's the definition of
I started
confusion.
thinking about that, like, that's one thing, you know, once I came into my development where I am now, yeah, I tell people I'm a part of the organization, but you'll never see me wear those letters on my chest ever again.
I mean, and it's
I got
sad
bonds
that
with some of those. I got personal bonds with some of those brothers, but those brothers who I really bonded with, when they meet me now, they don't even give me the alpha grip. They look at me as a man, as a brother, and you know what? It feels so much deeper, and it feels so much genuine than that grip ever did.
Yeah, man, because, you know, the thing is,
it's almost like I transcended. It's like I get to a point where I transcended past that grip.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And that's when you know. That's when you really know that you done came into almost to the right mindset. You understand what things is about. But then, like I said, now the work becomes the Civil War. I now have to I'm now that once you know better, you got to do better.
Yeah.
So now that I think I know better, it's incumbent upon me to go amongst these people. I just can't be like, okay, yeah, I see y'all got the wrong mindset, I'm leaving y'all alone. Nah, I can't necessarily do that. I still got to fight my good fight and do what I need to do and not get lagged down, but at the same time, I still got to go there and be like, hey, look, brothers, man, this mindset of this quote-unquote talented tiff thinking that we better than the other black people, we got to cut this out.
Yeah.
This whole thing of we get into positions of thinking that that's the reason why they fight so hard to get these, quote-unquote, like you say, they become DAs, they become these things, because all they want to do is give back, get another capital job,
let
get
me
another
propose
accolade
this.
job. That's what they're fighting. They're fighting for jobs.
Yeah.
But I'm fighting for black empowerment.
Brother Eric, let me throw this out there, man. Let me throw this out there.
Yes, sir.
Man. You know, because I've met all type of people, you know, and I don't want to like necessarily say it, like that white people are my enemy. You know what I'm saying? Not all. I don't feel like all of them are. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like all black people are my friend.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think that we're living in such a time as we approach this new vibration, because you know some people already understand they inheriting the sins of their ancestors, and they trying to free themselves from that evil. They trying to free themselves from that history. You know what I'm saying? And I done seen some people that'll go to their grave trying to be good people, and people still talk shit about them. You know what I'm saying? And they was good people, you know what I'm saying? But the people that's still alive and caught up in the matrix of, the definition, right? So, but then I done seen some black people, you know what I'm saying, that by definition of them being brothers and sisters, oh, hold on, man.
Be nice. Damn. Hello, did we drop the call?
Yeah, no, I'm still here. Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, had to adjust something.
Okay.
But by definition of, you know what I'm saying, of what's going on, I see some black people that, they should be like all for the people and everything, but every chance they get, they going to turn a corner to undercut another brother or another sister, you know what I'm saying? So we have to look at things. I just think because the enemy, the evil opposing energy is dark enough that it will confuse us, you know what I'm saying? Because it's black devils and white devils. And there are the forces of good and evil.
That's the beginning of Neely Fuller's book. He says, if you don't understand racism, white supremacy, what it is and how it's used, everything else will confuse you.
Yeah.
And the emphasis word is confusion. Confusion and definition and deception is
Yeah.
the white supremacist number one tactic.
Confusion.
It always going to start and almost end always right there. And when you know and understand that, you already know there's going to be a group of people that the white supremacists are going to, because oppression can only happen and last. Oppression can only last. I feel like this. Oppression can only last when you have people collaborate
Yeah.
against their own oppression.
Yeah.
And so when you already understand this, notice, you already know there's going to be pockets of black people out here whose sole job is, like you said, to undermine us. And so it's out.
The underminers.
Our job is to call those. Yeah, our job is to call those people out. Our job is to make sure the masses of the people know that this is what's going on. These people aren't these people aren't really speaking for us. These people only have personal agendas and not one as a group. And when you know that, you'll start attacking the problem at the root of it. And I see a lot of us, we're attacking the problems from branch to branch. You know what I'm saying? We one branch over here trying to break another branch over here and break another. Nah, we got to come on down to the root. The branches, if we attack to the root out, there won't be no more branches.
It won't be no more branches. Now, what you think about this, Brother Eric? So they got the regime change between Biden and Trump, right? So now Trump was in, they got Biden in, right? So what do you think about how with Trump having such a wild mouth and saying so many wild things, how he's being banned from social media, what type of impact do you think that's going to have on the general population in this country?
As always, I tell people this, when you look at things, the first thing you have to look at is how is it going to affect black people?
Exactly.
That's my first thing, is how it's going to affect black people before it affects, because how it affects the country isn't necessarily how it's going to affect us.
Black people, right.
And so from our perspective, how it's going to affect us, nothing's going to happen. Actually, it's about to get a little bit worse.
It's about to get a little bit worse, you said?
Yeah, it's going to get worse for us on two levels. One level is Trump is leaving, so we have a lot of overt white supremacists who are upset about that, and they're going to target us. We
Yeah.
have Biden coming in. He's an invert white supremacist, and he's going to wear us out
Yep.
by giving other groups, that we're talking about LGBT, anybody who speaks on gender, anybody who speaks up for immigration, anybody who thinks there's a such thing as a person of color or any type of black and brown coalition, all those people are going to get constant benefits to undermine us. And he's going to wear us the fuck out with policy. And he knows how to do it because he's had the experience that Trump hasn't had in writing policy.
Yeah. Well, I'm just, I know this. I'm, interested to see, because I know here it is. If you can ban the rich white old president of the United States from using certain social media platforms and stuff like that because of the crazy shit he talk, what about when a black person or somebody that's talking some real shit? You see what I'm saying? And if you can ban him, you can ban anybody. You don't. Most people don't have the juice that Donald Trump had to say or make people do things and say things. So can you imagine with the environment of fear that they tried to create, that they with the whole Donald Trump thing, you know what I'm saying? Can you imagine, when it comes time for somebody of lesser power, to say something, it's going to be easy, I mean, I look at something with R. Kelly, right? And I don't think a lot of people understand and realize this, but with R. Kelly, when, like, to this day, he hasn't had a court date, and he can't make bail, which is illegal under, like, the way the law is supposed to work about when you're accused of something, A, B, C, and D. But because he was tried publicly, and that is permissible for the law to do to him publicly, they can do that to anybody. That's the way I look at that stuff.
You're right.
They can do
they can.
what they want to anybody.
We just have to stay on square and be vigilant. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it's a constant attack.
Yeah.
It's a constant attack, and on all fronts.
Right. So if they did something like that,
there are 9 areas of human activity. Entertainment is one of them.
Yep.
We talked about the medical one earlier. Education is one. Politics is one. Sex war is one. In every area of human activity, economics,
they have came for everybody, man.
That area. Everybody that's considered, white supremacy is divided into two people that's considered, because you touched on something earlier about, there are white people basically that know their sins that's trying to fight against it. Yes, they are, but the difference between those and the white people and the black people who undermine us, two differences is the white people that are fighting against the sins of their ancestors, at the same time as they're fighting against their ancestors, they're also receiving the guarantees, the goodies, and the benefits that their ancestors gave, and none of those people are giving any of those things up.
Yeah.
And those are the things that really matter, the resources that they got. Now, you got people out here, you got a lot of white people that got here, because they know about racism, they know about inequality. There's a lot of ones that come out here and they'll talk good, but just like that lady Jane Elliott, a lot of people like her.
Yeah.
She talks good. She talks like she knows about white supremacy. She talks like she knows about, but the minute somebody asks her, what are you going to do about it? Once again, we're going to go back to what are you going to do about it?
I think we got another
then
call.
All of a sudden, she don't know nothing about all of a sudden, reparations is a foreign topic. All of a sudden, then her real anti-black racism comes out.
Yeah.
And that's usually where the rubber meets the road. You can discern those true, because Leland Fuller says this: all white people are white supremacists. They're either white supremacists or they're white supremacist suspects. And the people who are white supremacist suspects, which means that when you encounter, because his book is all about having a code of conduct of how to act, what to do when you encounter racism and white supremacy.
Hold your thought, brother Eric. Hold your thought, brother Eric. We got another caller. Hello, you there?
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Hey,
Mario.
yo,
Hey, it's Travis. What's up, man? How you doing?
Travis, man, what's good, man? How you doing, man? Tell the people
I'm
who
just
you
chilling.
are and where you calling from.
Hey, I'm Travis. I'm calling from the North Shore right now,
What's
and I've
good?
been out here since the pandemic. It's
Yeah,
been a long time, Mario. I miss you, man.
yeah, miss you
Been
too,
watching you do
man.
all of your streams and make all your posts and stuff. I figure I'd give you a shout and give you my 2 cents as like somebody who knows about tech stuff.
Yeah, well, go ahead, man. Jump on in there. Love to hear what you're saying, man.
Well, I've been listening, and the main thing that you were saying was about Donald Trump, and I kind of see from like a tech perspective, what Twitter did is really kind of a business thing, and you got to think about it from them. They're like between a rock and a hard place with this. They were damned if they did, damned if they didn't.
Yeah,
But ultimately, for us to say that that's anything to do with what they were talking about in the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights and what we fought for, I don't think that those are the same things, because I think that Twitter is a private business,
uh-huh.
and it's no different from like a radio station saying that somebody can't be on the radio station if it, or a TV, when people say, hey, this person is not going to be on our television show. It's just a
Yeah,
different medium, sure, and we think of it as a public good, but it's never been. It's a publicly traded company.
yeah.
It's not public. We don't have rights to it. And
Okay.
everybody has the right to boycott it in protest, just like they have the right to boycott Rouse's. And if people don't like it, they vote with their feet. But to say that we're having our rights taken away, because you can go out on the street right now and you can say whatever you fucking want. That's the freedom of speech. It's not the freedom of being able to use somebody else's computers to get out messages to people. That's
Okay.
somebody else's shit,
I could dig it. I could
right?
dig it.
That's other people who own that.
Okay. I could dig it.
And
Oh,
I don't
and
have the rights to do it. And honestly, I hate those platforms because I think that they silence our voices, and people like you or musicians have to deal with the algorithm
yeah.
that makes it that people like Donald Trump's voice goes out further than you, and you're bringing music and peace and love to the people in
Yeah.
the city, but you can't get as many people out there because you can't get as much voice because the algorithms favor divisive content. And look, and I'll say this, these companies, it's not like they could have done this 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? When Donald Trump first came out the gate saying hateful shit, they could have been like, bang, 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 you're dead. But
Yeah.
instead, they saw such a huge bump in their own numbers because Donald Trump did fucking numbers for Twitter. If Donald Trump wasn't on Twitter, Twitter's stock would be worth 1/10 as much.
Yeah.
Okay, right now.
What-
He carried Twitter on his back for the past 4 years. And that's why he's pissed, because he's in the back wherever he is right now saying, I made them so much money, blah, 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 I'm going to make my own thing. And he's going to make his own Twitter, and he has every right to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Now-
He has every right to do that, and he can then go and have his own thing, and he can make his own rules. And if you sign up and you agree to the terms of service, then you agree to it.
I could dig it. Now I'm gonna say this, Travis. What it seems like, and what it seems like can happen from, the decision that Twitter made, and they could do whatever they want to, right? But when we talk about the power of social persuasion, for example, right? Like I was talking about R. Kelly earlier. Socially, R. Kelly was convicted already, but he hasn't had a trial, and he's not eligible for bail. They got people that's done blew up churches and all kind of crazy heinous stuff that make bail. This man can't make bail and hasn't had his trial. Now, and socially, everybody's saying, well, yeah, he did what he did. That's what he gonna get. Why you taking up the, but they don't realize that if they can take one person and make them the exception to the rule, that opens up the floodgate for everybody to, be steamrolled. And right now we live, to me, and I'm black saying this, You understand? Like, I mean, like, I'm not afraid of some uh racist white person talking a whole lot of crazy stuff on the social media platform that I feel like I have to take away their right to say nothing, because I might want to say what the fuck I want to say, and if they don't like it, they kiss my ass too, the same way. I feel like a world that operates like that at least operates on the principle of sovereignty. But when you get to, the offended police, and they can just show up, and the society has given the offense police enough persuasion to, okay, Donald Trump, yeah, he's saying some foul shit, right? But what about, just for the simple fact, if they did it to him, even if it's their own platform, what about now that the social persuasion is there for a company to change its policies based on social persuasion? Now that level of social persuasion, which can literally be driven by something that's not people. Like algorithms themselves or whatever. And I'm not saying that's the case with Donald Trump, but I'm saying these things can open up the floodgates for people to not be able to express themselves publicly, because the only thing, yeah, you might have freedom of speech. I can go out and say anything I want to, right? But at the same time, when you live in a world where people not willing to, stand up on their own and embrace it and say what they got to say too, you know what I'm saying? And I gotta, like, what I'm saying, that just kind of threatens the people from being able to say what they want to. It seems like that, and once again, I don't agree with people, saying fucked up shit to people. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of
Right.
like, that's just the world, man. Some people might say good, some people might say bad, and we got to sift our way through it. But once we get out of that mindset, and now, hey, you're not supposed to say that. Like look at the comedians. You know what I'm saying? They can't even, go hard anymore because everything is social persuasion, and you know what I'm saying? So that's how I'm looking at it.
Right. No, I feel like you have a really good point there. And, cancel culture is like being used in all kinds of different shady ways. And,
Yeah.
in some places it's good, in some places it's bad. And, human nature is as such that people are going to take advantage of situations, whatever happens. But it's back to like our original point here.
Uh-huh.
We're talking about freedom of speech. And what Twitter canceled for this guy is the freedom of his reach.
Yeah.
Which is not secured in the Constitution.
Good
Okay,
dig.
he doesn't have the freedom to reach people on Twitter anymore. But that is not his. He does not have a constitutional right to Twitter.
Well, I'm glad you cleared that up, man.
He had a user agreement with them. He violated it.
Yeah.
Okay, imagine somebody is in your band, and you have an agreement with them. You don't do this on stage ever. In my band, representing Mario Abney. Right?
Yeah.
They do it. You say, look, you got to go because you're
Yeah, I
ruining
could
the
dig it.
experience for everybody else who comes here
I could
expecting
dig
a
it.
certain experience, right? And think about how much fun the internet used to be before fucking Donald Trump was doing this shit. And every day you had to go and worry about a fucking tweet coming out.
Well, see,
because he was terrorizing us for fucking 4 years.
like when
Me
I seen
personally,
the tweets,
I was terrorized because I'm a fucking internet user, and every day I see that shit.
yeah, I could dig it. You know what I'm saying? I guess for me, I mean, I had became so cynical of the whole hookup, you know what I'm saying, from years and years before Donald Trump ever made it to the White House. You know what I'm saying? That, just another motherfucking power saying some shit, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of other things that a lot of people didn't agree with, that as far as decisions and things that were being said and decisions being made in the world that we were all subject to, whether we knew it or not. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, yeah, he might just be out there. But, this is another thing that kind of tripped me out. And Eric, are you there too?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Well, this is another thing that kind of tripped me out. This is because when we talking about this pandemic stuff, the canceling of information and knowledge to deem everything false information and fact checkers and all, the same people that own the fact checkers own the facts.
Because this is the same. This is related the same way, and this is the argument, right? And I just want to hear your thoughts on. I'm not going to tell you how I feel, but I want to hear your thoughts on
Yeah.
just the simple thing. And this is what they would talk about in like law school if we talked about this. Is that, do you think it's okay if somebody's in a crowded theater to scream fire, right, and cause a panic and people die? Is that person liable for the danger that is created by them using their freedom of speech to then create? What do you think about that?
I mean, yeah, ideally, yeah, a person is gonna say, well, everybody has a responsibility and they should go to jail if such that they cause death upon people, right?
And
That's the
legal
easy
precedent that is
but
that's
but
the legal precedent
let
that
me
exists right now in our court system.
let me dive into that answer though, right? Because yeah, that's what the cliche. Everybody's gonna say that, and by saying that, everybody's in the same category and everything's safe and no boogeyman, right? But this is the thing, what I'm saying, is that okay, if somebody yell fire, and your parents didn't raise you to be able to look around and you out of that, you that out of touch with your senses, and you just start running because everybody else run, you're going to meet the fate of everybody else anyway, because you're just running with the crowd instead of thinking for yourself. So looking at these things on a deeper level, because the world is that deep now. We're in the information age. All you got to do is go and look. You got to understand there's no reason why the general public should really trust anything being said, because, I mean, they don't teach us biology to the level we can make vaccinations ourselves and we can know what's exactly in them. They don't teach us science generally unless you go into a specified school, and you learn in biology and chemistry on that level that you can know 100% that this is going to be safe. They don't teach you your common knowledge about our bodies isn't taught to where we don't have to take the doctor's word for it. You see what I'm saying? There's common knowledge of herbs and natural medicines and things aren't there for the people. You see what I'm saying? So we live in a world where we're supposed to do exactly as we're told, regardless if we have questions or not. And, since it's the information age and all of those things, it's like, man, we all can look and research for ourselves, but people want to get it from one source, and everybody, to just be on the same agenda. And the problem with that is that everybody don't have the same agenda. The agenda for the system has proven that it don't have my people in its best interest in hand, right? So when we talk about medicine and we talk about all of these things, I mean, man, just like, there's no reason to necessarily trust the mainstream information. You know what I'm saying? It's just not, because the mainstream information you could see is financially and politically motivated.
I'm with you there 100%. But there's also things that are good about what the government does and regulations, such as things where they make us tell us what's inside of the on the side of the box. It tells us like what ingredients and stuff is in there, right? Like,
yeah, but
we do go and then we can research what are those ingredients and all these other kind of things, right?
Yeah,
like we don't do that. So that's food that you eat. You can figure out what the ingredients of it. When someone gives you a piece of media, you don't know what the ingredients of it are. You don't know who the editor is. You don't know who paid for that piece to be written. You know, if this was a paid piece or if this was a real journalist.
Yeah.
You don't get to know all those things, right? And that's why they created fact-checking, to give us a level of health for our information. Because if people eat information, just like, you have a kid and you feed a kid's mind with shit, they're going to become a shithead.
Yeah.
The same thing happens with just people on the internet.
The problem with fact checkers.
That's a big case, and there's people who dedicate their lives, and it's so hard to go and regulate that. And look, they didn't do a good job. I'm not going to go and say they did a good job. They tried something out of like fact checking, because there's a problem, and it's that fake news travels 20 times faster than real news, because it makes people crazy.
The problem with the fact checkers.
Real or not,
If I might just jump in
And
there
so
for
imagine
a
if you have
second.
a thing that people are getting their news, but the thing is optimized where if someone writes a fake story, it's going to get 20 times the exposure than a real story because of the way, it's a weakness in the human mind.
Yeah, I could dig it.
And they were
What?
exploiting a weakness, and they were trying to plug that hole in that weakness for everyone's benefit. And that's why you saw that, and that's where it came from. It's not from like, hey, let's go and clamp this thing down, because the internet advocates were very much against that.
Well,
But
let me jump in there
there's
for a
also
second.
problems.
Let me jump in there for a second, right? Because the problem I have with fact checkers is the same people that own fact checkers own the facts. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we look at this whole
Right. I
pandemic
believe that there
thing.
needs to be more fact checking.
The,
There needs to be
but
more people who are
let's
paid. And
check it
there needs
out.
to be there needs to be a capitalistic system
Check it out.
that somehow rewards people with money for checking these facts and can be verified, so that people can get paid to be doing this, right?
This is the
Because
thing.
we need
This
people,
is the
just
thing.
like we need people researching our food and making sure that there's no shit in it before they allow us to eat it.
Well, check it out.
Which,
Check
like,
it
there
out.
should be more and more and more of.
This is the thing.
Go ahead.
This is the thing, right? When we talk about fact checkers and we talk about the information that's being discredited, right? For example, with the pandemic stuff, no African countries. Now, when you look at the African countries, they don't have the shit like that. You can even just see articles floating around. Scientists are baffled why African countries don't have the pandemic. Right? And you look at that. So, how many African countries do you see making the nightly news? You know what I'm saying? Anything that's indigenous or black or not part of the main Western system is on the internet. You can post it if you want to, but if it doesn't fit the narrative that we're being put up under, and I have every reason to be a skeptic as a black person, you know what I'm saying? If it doesn't fit the mainstream narrative, it needs to be fact checked or it's false information. Everything black and everything not with the mainstream narrative seems to be false information. The only things black that have a voice have been ordained by the Western system. Kizzy Corbett, whatever her name is, she was ordained by them. You see what I'm saying? All of the black nurses and doctors, you know what I'm saying, that get the spotlight, they're ordained and held in high favor by the system of powers that be. You see what I'm saying? So that's the problem I have with fact checkers, is that fact checkers don't represent people that look like me. You there?
I mean, how do you know that, though? Like, have you looked into fact-checking organizations? Like, which
I'm saying,
fact-checking
like,
organizations have you
I'm
looked into?
saying, like, the people I check out, the metaphysicists, the herbologists, just different things. They're not going to get the limelight.
Okay,
They're
no,
not
I
going to
believe you on
get.
that. I was talking about, like, on the internet of fact-checking, because, I mean, I think you raised a really good point.
Yeah.
That there should be a fully diverse representative body of people who are fact checkers and experts, right?
Yeah.
And we should be able to have that, right? There's a society that actually lifts people who are the best at what they do to go and for the betterment of everyone else.
Yeah.
That's a society I want to be a part of, right?
Yeah.
And you're 100% right that, like, we're still recovering from, colonialism, slavery, and all of the wreckage of capitalism, right?
Yeah.
And, it's going to take a while for us to go and fix this shit up. I think that we might have been able to, like, avoid a disaster just now with everything that happened. But, people like you, y'all need to keep fighting, right? And I'm here, like, what people don't realize about me is that because I pass for white, people think of me as white, right? You probably think of me as white. Right? Maybe like Jewish. But I'm actually black. And 2 generations ago, my family during World War I, went to Ohio and registered for the Army there and just listed white when he applied for the Army and came back to Louisiana with white paperwork. You know, and so there's so many people like me.
That's something. That's
And I
Oh,
something
think
you was.
definitely.
That's something your ancestors was allowed to do. That's something that black people.
they were allowed to, exactly. And what I'm saying is that there's literally millions and millions and millions of people like me, and I actually think that if we actually really did the demographics on people, people would realize that there actually is a majority of people who are not white
Of course.
out there. And that's the thing that I would love for people to actually really talk about. I mean, I know some people who grew up with me in Metairie, and now that I know that I actually am not white, I actually doubt a lot of other people's whiteness, and some of these people are racist, right? And they just don't know. And I think that we can purify people with, like, the facts and with information and with telling people, like, we're all actually part of this. We're all actually part of this. And some people got fucked more than others. There's a full spectrum. And if we can go and use the positive trends that came out of 2020, which is the actual attention being there, translate that into, like, businesses and empowerment things and like all these information things you're talking about. I mean, I think that Africa is on the come up as a continent right now. I think Africa is going to become a really great place, and what I would love is for it to not
Africa's
be a
being
colonialism
decimated
thing.
right now. Africa is on a downcline right now. Africa is being decimated by the Chinese. And yes, it is. You know, if for people, and I don't even travel. I haven't traveled abroad there ever. But where I get my information from are from people who travel. And the word around the Caribbean, and especially in Africa right now, is basically Africa is becoming a suburb of China. The Chinese has been and is overpopulated, and over the past, well, it started with the Obama administration with some of the policies that he enacted. Another person who wasn't on our wasn't doing anything for black people, was doing things for the general society.
Right.
And with some of the policies he enacted opened the doors for the Chinese to do business. And again, like usual, we fell for the okie doke, and the agreements that they're getting is, of course, the Chinese say, the Chinese just want resources. Well, okay, the African people are letting the Chinese people over there to dig ditches, drains, put in infrastructure, and all that type of stuff, in the hopes of thinking that those jobs are going to go to the African people there. Well, that's not happening. They're bringing in their own people from China because they have to offset their population, and so they're bringing in their own people. There are people that just recently, been over there. If you listen to Street Machine or if you listen to Professor Black Truth, there's a couple people in the black media that get pretty solid information. And the word is out of Africa right now, like I said, in Africa and all over the Caribbean, the Chinese are taking over.
The information that I'm getting is more about, like, the business climate of, like, how many African software developers are starting their own companies and starting their own businesses and inventing things, and how many filmmakers are making films, and the continent, especially like Nigeria, that it's been like a creative explosion and like new
it probably is. It probably is on that front, but my whole point
let
is
me jump
it
in.
isn't helping the people there. It isn't helping the Africans there.
Hey y'all, if I might jump in for a second, if I might jump in for 1 second, fellas, if I might jump in for 1 second. What we got to remember though is that what system is this stuff being, these advancements that you point out, Tim? You got to realize what system are these advancements being made under, and who is paying the money out? Who is running the show? Because when we talk about
I don't forget that. I mean,
who is running the show? And let me throw this out there, Tim. And because when we talk about what me and Eric is talking about is global white supremacy, meaning that when you don't see these African doctors and these herbologists and people that's been living on the planet for millions of years, healthy and everything, you see what I'm saying? When they can't say we have a cure, we have something for this. Madagascar was made to be a joke. They were made to be fake news. Real people live in Madagascar. Africa is prosperous in
Dude,
the health
it makes
department
sense
right
that they
now.
find a cure in places that have different alternative, things.
But
Like
what I'm
Madagascar is
saying
home to
is,
like a
what I'm
whole
saying is,
Let
origin
me
thing. I
chime
mean, it
in.
makes sense.
the queen got the queen about to chime in right quick, fellas.
So I want to go back to what y'all were talking about with fact checkers and for the greater good of the society and the community and stuff like that. So my question that I want to throw out there is that if fact checkers is real, and if fact checkers is truthful and it is a reliable source, then they shouldn't be able to take anything down in regards to COVID-19, because then where are they getting this information from about the COVID-19 vaccine? Because then where are they getting this information from?
Exactly.
Because if I look up, what is inside of the COVID-19 vaccine, you will not find it. So unless they have some inside source of information, and then that's a whole nother problem, that we have then with fact checkers. But if it is real, they should not be able to say anything about the vaccine because there's not enough information published about it. So where are they getting
Exactly.
this? What sources are they checking against?
The system is just not to be. What's going on?
It's actually all public, and the data in which they got the vaccine from is public as well.
I've tried to find it. I've tried to find the exact.
So you have to go back.
Ingredients.
There was a researcher in Wuhan in their laboratory who's like a hero, who published the entire sequence of the virus online, and then the vaccine is a work back from that, and it's all they don't give away like their way that they solve it necessarily,
And that's
but
the
all of
problem.
the thing that everyone
That's the
needs,
problem.
and that's because it's there's multiple different ones, right? And so
Well,
anyone can go
even
and
still,
create a
it
vaccine.
all needs.
The
You could go and
particular
create a
one I was
vaccine,
looking
and then you
into
could
is-
apply, and then you could.
I
be
didn't mean to cut
distributing
into you guys, brother, but I'm going to have to leave the conversation. It was good, brother Anthony. I'm glad to be on your show, and I will be
Man.
on and talk to you guys again. But I'm going to have to leave the conversation. I didn't mean to interrupt, but thanks
Good
a lot.
chatting,
for having me.
Brother Eric, man, much love, peace, blessings, and success to you, man. Thank you for calling in, man. Your thoughts
You too,
were
bro.
greatly appreciated, and they helped to make a difference in the world today. You know what I'm saying? So you're more than welcome at any time, brother. Peace and
All
God,
right, no problem. Appreciate it.
peace and Godspeed, man. For God, for Central, for
Brother, talk to
State.
you
Yeah. All right, man. Yeah, Tim, you there? You there? Tim.
I'm still here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So,
Hello?
I mean, I'm just going to.
Travis.
Oh,
Hey,
Travis, my bad, man. I'm thinking about a cat named Tim. That's another calls in.
You think about Tim the Goldman.
Yeah, but Travis,
Think about
man.
Goldman Tim.
So the vaccine that I was trying to look into was the Pfizer and the BioNTech. There's very little information about the biometrics that are being used inside of the vaccine, where the mRNA is coming from, where is all of this DNA coming from. I haven't found it, but if you have found the actual ingredients of any of them, any of the vaccines, please put it in the comments.
Yeah,
Well,
please.
do you know the actual ingredients of like the private drug companies? They don't publish the intellectual property.
That's a
of
problem.
it. Otherwise, then another private drug company could just copy it.
That's a problem, though, because see the problem here is
It's
that
proprietary.
That's capitalism. That's so the safeguard for that is that we have these people who then force them to go through the 8 months of trials and everything that they went through. And I wish they would have gone through 18 months of trials.
Well,
right? Because
see-
I want to see what happens to somebody when they try to have kids.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing
right?
is actually about a 20-year process of checking the efficacy of it.
So when you look at a
We shouldn't
racist,
have
when you look at
we
a
shouldn't have millions of people finding out what happens with the kids. Because look, I'll tell you. You know, Dr. Oshner. We have Oshner Hospital here.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna get into like some crazy real talk.
uh-huh,
Okay, Dr. Oshner was a super right wing operative.
uh-huh.
Okay, financed by the CIA. We have a monkey laboratory where they develop bioweapons
Wow.
here on the North Shore. I could drive and be there in 30 minutes with the objective to kill Castro.
Wow.
Freaking that guy, he was the one behind when we had the big vaccination back in the day for polio. He went on TV. He went in like the newspaper and everything, and on the radio, and was like, everyone should get the vaccine. And it was like famous doctor from New Orleans, Dr. Osher, says everyone should get the vaccine. And he vaccinated 3 of his grandchildren, and they took a photo, right? And it was on the front page of the paper. So everybody got the vaccine. Well, guess what? 3 weeks later, his grandson died.
Damn.
Okay? So it's like, and that vaccine that they had was found to have monkey viruses in it. Okay? And it's actually believed to have caused cancer in millions of people.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm very much like deep research into this because I read that book at the beginning of the pandemic.
So
Okay, it's called Dr. Mary's Monkeys. For your listeners out there,
to leave that in the
comment,
text it in the comments. I'm gonna look that up, check it out.
I'll put it in the comments. But it's Dr. Mary's Monkeys. It's a guy who he's from New Orleans. And he just kind of stumbled across the story because he dated a woman who lived in an apartment where the mice were being treated with all the different things. And look, Mark, it gets even crazier.
Yeah.
The guy leaves with like saying that it's very possible that this is where AIDS started.
Wow. So let me throw this out there, right?
Laboratory. What they were doing was they were taking viruses from African monkeys and viruses from Asian monkeys and mixing it together and then trying all these different combinations in mice. And then eventually the guy who they say killed Kennedy, Lee Harvey Oswald, in this book they say that he went and was the guy who was supposed to go to Cuba and like kill Castro with the thing, and that's why they made him look like a big communist so that he could actually get into Cuba and be trusted by Castro.
That's crazy.
But he got a guy from Angola, and he put the thing in. He put the thing in, and the guy from Angola died in 28 days. It was like Tuskegee.
Wow. So
they killed this guy.
So, Travis, man, we see.
So that being said, that was 70 years ago. Okay, when all this shit was going down, or almost
Travis,
70 years ago. It was like 60-something years ago.
Just jump in there right quick, right? See, fact checkers, that wouldn't make fact checkers. You know what I'm saying? If we were trying to relate that to now, that wouldn't make fact checkers. That will put that in a Donald Trump conspiracy theorist camp program agenda type thing. So where black people that are serious about, seeking alternative means of existence other than being, generified and commercialized, everything that's natural or organic or spiritual or anything else or scientific beyond what's generally accepted would be put into the conspiracy theory Donald Trump fact checkers lane. You see what I'm saying? And the problem with that is that when we talk about, like, I hear a lot of people saying, trust the science, da 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 da, right? So when we talk about science, if something is airborne and a billionth of the size of a piece of hair or something like that, almost down to nano size, it ain't a fucking mask or nothing that's gonna help your ass unless you got on like a mask with bells and whistles and a glass plate over it and an oxygen tank and all. Cause see, you see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying I'm against wearing a mask.
You say that, but you're from Chicago. You've been in sitting there talking with somebody when you can just see your breath.
Yeah.
It's not about the air. It's about the water. The water droplets get caught in the mask.
Yeah, I can understand.
So I don't end up actually spitting a water droplet through the air and it lands on your eyeball, right?
I can see it. I can dig it.
You're from Chicago. You've seen just when you talk to somebody in the cold, you just see your breath all over that person.
Yeah. I understand. I understand that also. What I'm saying is
that's the mask.
Yeah, that's a mess. But what I'm saying is that's still you can still. I mean, if it's gonna help you, good, fine. You know what I'm saying? And I wear a mask. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we have immune systems. 1, 2. You know what I'm saying? Those little particles are so small that they will still penetrate anyway. You see what I'm saying? Look at the test, right? They say for the test, oh, well, yeah, you supposed to stick this thing all the way up your nose only. Well, not only, I'm sure they got another one now, but they got to go all the way up your nose. Why didn't they come out with a saliva test first? If the shit is so prevalent that it can just go through, you need to wear a mask.
Why would you want to puncture my nasal
cavity
membranes that are protecting me from any
right,
sickness?
Right. So, you know what I'm saying? Why not be able to spit on some shit?
That's just really uncomfortable.
Why not be able to spit on some shit and get the test like that? If it's all super contagious and you got to wear a mask, it should definitely be in your spit. It's too much weird shit, man. You know what I'm saying? And black people have been through too much to just be trusting these rules, you know, and bowing down like that. Aren't we mad enough?
Well, what do you think about Africa itself, right? Where one of the reasons why they've done so well with coronavirus is because they actually did follow the rules.
Nah, the reason why Africa,
because they had a previous disease.
The reason why Africa has done so well with the virus is because people that are vitamin D deficient, like most black people in the United States, people aren't vitamin D deficient in a climate like Africa where their melanin synthesizes vitamin D and they have that protection. Also, the UV light in the sun, you see what I'm saying, kills that shit. So it's like, man, you know what I'm saying? People over here, you know, we're not getting sunlight like that. That's a whole nother reason for reparations right there. They took people out their natural climate. You know what I'm saying?
Doing whatever they want. Alvin Kamara's got freaking coronavirus.
No sunlight.
People are.
Where's the sun?
No,
we're in the wintertime. You know what I'm saying? This ain't Africa. You can't just go out and commune with the sun. You know what I'm saying? This ain't like that. This is not our natural indigenous climate. You know what I'm saying? And when we talk about the racism in the medical industry and stuff like that, they don't even think about stuff like that. Melanin isn't even taken into consideration, Doc. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, literally, you know what I'm saying? If you look at melanin and what happens with the process of the human body, and you talk about vitamin D, and you talk about the differences that in certain ailments like white people don't get sickle cell.
Big thing, and I've been getting a lot of sun too.
Yeah, like white people don't get sickle cell. You know what I'm saying? But the difference with black people and sickle cell and malaria in turn, and white people with malaria is different from my understanding. I can look it up right quick, but I'm just saying all of those things to say that, you know, for this industry that we in, that wants access to our bodies so badly, they are not and have historically they haven't showed any interest in the things that matter to black people and that are or good for us, like our melanin and how our melanin reacts with chemically with certain things or any of those things. They just say, oh, we're all the same. You know what I'm saying? And that's racist within itself. So, you know, we see all of these different issues and things going on and how black people are being made to be the face of the pandemic. Oh, they got a black doctor that developed the vaccine. So you get Dr. Fauci come on there talking about, oh, yeah, we need to, black people, you know, you can totally trust the medical industry now. I know you guys are worried about such and such, but, you know, these things are totally different now, you know. And then they just roll a black lady out there and we just supposed to believe it. It was a black lady that gave the brothers and sisters for the Tuskegee syphilis experiments the shots. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess my whole point is that we should be, I'm dissatisfied. I don't trust it. I shouldn't have to. And nobody should expect me to. You know what I'm saying? And I can still love all my friends of other races and still have peace in my heart. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like black people are at war right now. You know what I'm saying? I really do. You like I was saying before. I'm seeing black people upset about what happened at the Capitol, but it was a young man that had a sandwich in his hand, shot in the back by the police, killed. He didn't even do anything. And you see what I'm saying? It was another brother that was shot in the back, and the police dug the bullets out of his back. Before the ambulance came, it's like, how barbaric is that? You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying I'm walking around in fear, man, but when people talking about the medical industry, oh yeah, well, everybody's going to have to take this vaccine. You're not going to be able to buy, sell, trade, do this, da. Or if you don't take this shot, and it's said that black people are the number one people that's getting, and you're so sick. And it's like, to stay healthy is a protest, Travis. To not come down with that shit and refute and live in prosperity is a protest at this point in time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, look, I feel you, man. I think that we're in some uncharted territory situation right now. I mean, like I told you, like I don't have the the stuff that I know about vaccines until this one, is all kind of negative stuff that I was reading. Obviously, like I'm not the most well-researched person, but I went and talked to a bunch of people about this one, and medicine has just advanced like superpowers because of computers. That's why they were able to come up with this vaccine so fast. Is because computer power is just like so ridiculously strong that the research that they're doing happens so much faster at lightning speed. And because I was like, how did this happen so quick, right? And
I'm hearing about biometrics.
Shady, right? My brother's getting vaccinated next week because he's a teacher, right? And so I was, all about my research on this thing, and this one seems like it's actually really good. I wish that they had done 12 months or 18 months of testing and seen what happens with people who have kids, right?
Man,
so that's kind of a hard thing to experiment on, right? Because that's but my brother's is not having any more kids, right? So he's not really at risk, and that's really the one thing that is not tested.
Well, let me throw this out there, Tim. Travis, let me throw this out there, bro.
What's that?
Travis, like, check this out. And this is just my analysis of this shit. You know what I'm saying? And this, I'm not sure how true this is about if it contains aborted male fetal lung tissue, but I keep hearing that floating about. But I'm going to say this, man. We live in a society with such a bloodlust for the death of the unborn. You know what I'm saying? And it's such a disrespect for the power of sex and creating life that, you know what I'm saying, maybe it's just karma upon the planet for a pandemic, because at the point in time where we can really, abortion actually has to be an issue about how people vote. And some people want it that bad as a term of self-expression and freedom. You see what I'm saying? That I see the connectivity, if it is so, that there's aborted male lung fetal tissue in these vaccines as part of the makeup. I can see, I can totally see that being kind of like a spiritual karmatic judgment upon humanity. That, you know what I'm saying, people want to live in their own selfish lifetime so much that they will live off the death merits of the unborn. You see what I'm saying? To, fund their own greedy, selfish, short lifetime, which they don't even intend on creating children themselves. You know what I'm saying? That just seems like the energy that's taking place. And if you think about the Terminator, and you think about 1984, you thinking about any of those dystopian movies, that's how people are. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about life. They don't care about love. They don't care about sex and family and building. You know what I'm saying? Everything is some high society, highfalutin minded. Just let me super cosmopolitan. You know what I'm saying? I got my rights, and Is everything of the old train of thought about building life is archaic and cavemanish and to be looked down upon. It's a dark anti-human vibe. It's disconnected. It doesn't seem like it has soul or humanity. You know what I'm saying? It's fake. Everything down from the admission to the planet is to take the vaccine. And then you probably be sterilized. And, do you believe in population control? And all of these, it's not human, man. It's transhuman. And that's something that's taking place now, I think, is the move into transhumanism. You know what I'm saying? You seeing how they talking about biotechnology and nanotechnology and the world's first living robots were made. Man, what's your thoughts on some of those things that I'm talking about?
What are you saying? The robots?
I said, yeah. What's your thoughts on some of those things that I was just saying? Do you think we're moving into?
You're breaking up.
I said, do you think we're moving into like a transhuman mindset of a society where it's not?
Yeah. Look, there's a lot of stuff going on like that, right? They're trying to do the neural net to link people's brains into the cloud so that you can like access information like a computer, right? Like,
yeah.
Shit is certainly going like fucking crazy off the deep end, and I think that we need to go and create more safeguards against all of this stuff from turning against us and being bad, right?
Yeah.
Like this vaccine, I personally think that they went through enough things to go and put this one out. And I have the one caveat with saying that, and I'm not well researched enough to say that, right?
Yeah.
I just know time, and I know that there wasn't a baby born in that time frame, right? I don't know all the other stuff about how DNA transfers from one human to another, and if your parents had it, or if you had seen, your semen or whatever. Like, I don't know that.
Hey,
right?
Travis.
And so that's.
Do you see how sci-fi this conversation is starting to become, though? 10 years ago, you wouldn't hear people talking about DNA and such and RNA and, you know what I'm saying, nanotechnology and nanoparticles. We're here. You know what I'm saying? This is
right,
what.
But that's just natural evolution of technology, right? Like,
yeah. But what I'm saying.
100 years ago, they wouldn't be talking about the different elements and whatever, like.
But what
people
I'm
didn't
saying.
know, and this is what we're talking about. If information wasn't progressing, you wouldn't be able to know all the information that you know.
Yeah.
Right? All the good information and the bad, right?
Yeah.
Because, people went and figured all this shit out, right? And if they didn't figure it out, you wouldn't be able to go and bypass cable to go and get the information, right? So
exactly.
Technology is a two-edged sword, right? Technology is a tool. And we can't hate technology for technology, because if it wasn't for technology, we wouldn't have a lot of the good things, right? We have to be able to safeguard it. It's like guns, right? Like people shouldn't be able to buy fucking tanks and nukes and whatever else, right?
Yeah.
It's like if somebody if Jeff Bezos had just spent all his billions of dollars on tanks and shit, we'd be like, that's not okay, and we have to put in more safeguards. And I think that you're raising the right point. And what I hope is that you just never ever quit, raising the alarms and raising the flags, because this is positive, criticism, because what's the worst that can happen, right? It's not like, from you criticizing, like they could prove you wrong, right? And as long as you're willing to go and like see other people's side and say, okay, well, prove it to me, right?
That's all I'm saying is like,
method.
let me know, show me.
That's the method of inquiry that we've done with humanity to settle things, right? So that we can have a source of truth.
Show me, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about.
Don't do that.
Well, yeah, man. Yeah, Travis, man. This was definitely a solid cipher, man. I'm glad you called in, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, yeah, no, it was great. I actually was like, I wanted to just see like what was going on with the phone. I was like, he's got a number here. I'd never seen this before. Like, what software is this or whatever that you're using to do this?
This is off
or like
my,
how.
my wife owns internet radio station, so We're
Okay.
broadcasting.
So this,
We're broadcasting across several platforms, but I'm also broadcasting off of her internet radio station, and this is the number that's associated with her internet radio station. So we're just calling in off of her internet radio station number. The radio station is named Let'sLiveRadio.com. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, y'all listening to Let'sLiveRadio.com as well, and so this is yours truly, Mr. Mario Abney. Yeah, Travis, man. But yeah, man, it's
Let's Live Radio.com.
yeah,
Shout out to you, and it's been nice being on the show. I appreciate it.
yeah, Travis, man. Look forward to rapping with you again. Kelly, did you have anything you wanted to say before we closed out?
No, not that I could think of.
Well, man, it was great to hear your thoughts, comments, concerns, brother Travis, man. Look forward to catching up with you again. Keep yourself healthy, man. Godspeed. God bless everyone that listened today. And Baba Ken, thanks for calling in, man. Brother Eric, and everybody else that called in. Travis, man, peace. Catch all y'all later. This was another episode of Yeah, That's What I Said. Yeah, I said that. Peace, y'all.